Even if the total sleep time looks reasonable, the brain and body may never receive the uninterrupted recovery they need. So if you've recently noticed that you're more emotionally sensitive, more anxious, less focused, less productive, and you've also been sleeping too little for a long period of time, the missing piece may not simply be lack of sleep. It may be lack of REM sleep. Welcome back to DeepSleep Health Lab. Today, we're going to explore a fascinating question. What actually happens while we sleep? Many people think sleep is simply a matter of closing their eyes, falling asleep, and getting some rest. But in reality, sleep is far more than that. Sleep is not a period when the brain simply shuts down. In fact, the opposite is true. While we sleep, the brain and body are carrying out an extraordinarily complex and highly organized restoration process. This process includes light sleep, deep sleep, and rapid eye movement sleep, commonly known as REM sleep. Each stage serves a different purpose. Some help repair the body, some organize memories, some restore emotional balance, and some help us transition smoothly from wakefulness into sleep. A truly healthy night of sleep is not measured simply by asking, "How many hours did I sleep?" Instead, we need to ask several different questions. Was the sleep structure complete? Was the sleep rhythm stable? Were there frequent awakenings during the night? And most importantly, did the brain and body actually recover by the next morning? To answer these questions, let's take a closer look at what happens throughout an entire night of sleep. First, we need to understand one fundamental concept. Sleep is not one continuous block. It is made up of multiple sleep cycles. A typical adult will experience approximately 4 to 6 sleep cycles during a single night. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes on average. Of course, there is considerable variation. For some people, a cycle may be closer to 70 minutes. For others, it may approach 2 hours. A typical sleep cycle follows a pattern like this. First, we move from wakefulness into very light sleep. This stage is called N1 sleep. Next comes stable light sleep. This stage is known as N2 sleep. After that, we enter deep sleep. This stage is called N3 sleep. Then the brain gradually moves back toward lighter sleep. Finally, it enters rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep, the stage we briefly introduced in our previous episode. Once that cycle is complete, the entire process begins again. In other words, a night of sleep is not simply a little light sleep, a little deep sleep, and a little dreaming. Instead, sleep moves forward in waves, cycle after cycle, throughout the night. And here's something even more important. Not all sleep cycles are the same. During the first half of the night, especially in the first few cycles after falling asleep, deep sleep is more abundant. As the night progresses, deep sleep gradually decreases, while REM sleep becomes increasingly dominant. This means that deep sleep is concentrated primarily in the first half of the night, while REM sleep is concentrated more heavily in the second half. This helps explain a common experience. Some people stay awake until 2 or 3 in the morning. Then they sleep until 10 o'clock the next day and assume they have fully recovered. But often, they haven't. Sleep is not something that can simply be shifted later on the clock. The structure of sleep is closely connected to another concept we discussed in the previous episode, the circadian rhythm. Because of this connection, chronic late bedtimes, irregular schedules, and constantly shifting sleep patterns can interfere with the normal balance of both deep sleep and REM sleep. Now let's look at how sleep is classified in modern sleep medicine. Today, sleep is generally divided into two major categories. The first is non-rapid eye movement sleep, commonly called NREM sleep. The second is rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep. NREM sleep is further divided into three stages: N1, N2, and N3. Let's review them together. N1 is the transition into sleep. N2 is stable light sleep. N3 is deep sleep. And REM sleep is rapid eye movement sleep, the stage most commonly associated with vivid dreaming. If we estimate an average adult's sleep over an entire night, the distribution generally looks like this. N1 sleep accounts for about 5%. N2 sleep accounts for roughly 50%. N3 deep sleep accounts for about 20%. And REM sleep accounts for approximately 25%. These numbers are extremely important because they help correct one of the most common misunderstandings about sleep. Many people look at a sleep report and see a large amount of light sleep. Immediately, they assume they slept poorly. But the reality is very different. Adults naturally spend nearly half of the night in N2 sleep. Light sleep is not useless sleep. It is not bad sleep. In fact, it forms the foundation of a healthy sleep structure. The real questions we should be asking are these: was sleep repeatedly interrupted? Was deep sleep fragmented? Was REM sleep disrupted? And during the day, did fatigue, poor concentration, or emotional instability become noticeable? Now that we understand the basic structure of sleep, let's take a closer look at each stage individually. Now let's begin with the first stage of sleep, N1. N1 is the transition between wakefulness and sleep. Some sleep specialists simply call it the sleep onset stage. This stage is usually very short. For most people, it lasts somewhere between 1 and 7 minutes. And during N1, you can still be awakened very easily. In fact, if someone gently calls your name during N1, you might respond by saying, "I'm not asleep yet." But the truth is, your brain has already started entering sleep. Have you ever experienced any of these sensations? A sudden feeling of falling, a brief jerk in your leg or arm, random flashes of fragmented images, or waking up because of the slightest sound? If so, you were probably already in N1 sleep. From a physiological perspective, the longer we stay awake during the day, the greater our sleep pressure becomes. In the previous episode, we talked about a naturally occurring substance in the brain called adenosine. Adenosine gradually builds up throughout the day. One of its most important functions is to reduce neuronal activity, promote relaxation, and increase the drive to sleep. As adenosine accumulates, we become sleepier and sleepier. And when that sleep pressure becomes strong enough, the brain begins transitioning into N1 sleep. During this stage, heart rate starts to slow down, breathing becomes calmer, muscles begin to relax, and brainwave activity gradually shifts from the faster patterns of wakefulness to slower sleep-related rhythms. But N1 has one major limitation. It is extremely light, too light. If a person spends an unusually large amount of the night in N1, or repeatedly falls back into N1 from deeper sleep stages, it usually means that sleep is being interrupted. Remember the 10 sleep disruptors we discussed in the previous episode: stress, anxiety, noise, alcohol, sleep apnea, electronic screens, and many others. Almost all of them can push the brain back toward N1 sleep. This is why a high percentage of N1 sleep often suggests unstable sleep. Now let's move on to N2. Among all sleep stages, N2 is probably the most misunderstood. Traditionally, N2 is classified as light sleep, but personally, I think a better description would be stable sleep, because stability is exactly what N2 provides. For a typical adult, roughly half of the entire night is spent in N2 sleep. If you sleep for 8 hours, around 4 of those hours may be N2. That's completely normal. During N2, body temperature continues to fall. Heart rate slows further. Breathing becomes more regular. Eye movements nearly disappear, and muscles relax even more. At this point, the brain is much less likely to wake up from minor disturbances. N2 contains 2 very important electrical patterns in the brain. The first is called a sleep spindle. The second is called a K complex. We don't need to dive too deeply into the neuroscience, but understanding them at a practical level is useful. Think of a sleep spindle as the brain's soundproof door. It helps filter out minor external disturbances, a distant sound, a small movement in the room, a subtle environmental change. Without sleep spindles, we might wake up every time something small happened around us. The second pattern, the K complex, acts more like a rapid evaluation system. When the brain detects a sound, it quickly asks, is this important? Do I need to wake up? Or can I safely ignore it? If the signal appears harmless, the brain stays asleep, and sleep continues. In many ways, N2 acts like a protective buffer zone. It helps preserve sleep. It helps prevent unnecessary awakenings, and it helps prepare the brain for deeper sleep stages. This is why N2 serves such an important role. Its primary function is not simply to make us sleep. Its function is to stabilize sleep. To make the transition into deep sleep smoother, and to make the transition into REM sleep more successful. This is also why I often say, light sleep is not low-quality sleep. Light sleep is not useless sleep. The real problem is fragmented sleep. A person sleeps, then wakes up, then sleeps again, then wakes up again, over and over throughout the night. Even if the total sleep time looks reasonable, the brain and body may never receive the uninterrupted recovery they need. That is what truly reduces sleep quality. Not N2 sleep itself, but repeated disruption of the entire sleep structure. Now that we've covered N1 and N2, it's time to move into the stage most people care about the most: deep sleep. Stage N3. Now we arrive at the stage that most people are curious about: deep sleep, also known as stage N3. In sleep medicine, N3 is often referred to as slow wave sleep. The name comes from the brain's electrical activity during this stage. Large numbers of low-frequency brain waves, typically between 0.5 and 4 Hz, become dominant. This is also the stage in which people are the hardest to wake up. If you've ever been awakened suddenly from a very deep sleep, you probably remember the feeling. You're confused, disoriented. You may not even know where you are for a few moments. That's because your brain was in N3 sleep. For someone who sleeps 7 to 8 hours, deep sleep may account for roughly an hour and a half of the night. Of course, this number varies. Age matters, health matters, lifestyle matters, and all the factors that influence sleep quality matter as well. Generally speaking, younger people tend to have more deep sleep. As we age, the proportion of deep sleep gradually declines. So why is deep sleep so important? Because deep sleep is primarily focused on physical restoration. This is the stage most closely associated with tissue repair, growth hormone release, immune regulation, energy recovery, and glucose metabolism. In simple terms, deep sleep is the body's maintenance window. Imagine a large building. During the day, people are constantly using it. The elevators run, the lights stay on, machines operate, wear and tear accumulate. Then at night, maintenance crews arrive, repairs are made, systems are checked, damaged parts are replaced. Deep sleep works in a very similar way. It is the period when the body performs much of its essential maintenance. When deep sleep is consistently inadequate, the effects are often subtle at first. You may not become sick immediately. Instead, your recovery capacity begins to decline. You may feel more tired during the day. Exercise recovery becomes slower. Your immune system may become less effective. Concentration may suffer. Mood may worsen. And over time, even appetite and metabolism can be affected. But there is something important that many people misunderstand. Deep sleep is not a competition. More is not always better. Let me say that again. Deep sleep is not a competition. The true goal of healthy sleep is not gaining 20 extra minutes of deep sleep on a particular night, nor is it worrying about losing 20 minutes. The real goal is maintaining a healthy sleep structure over the long term, a regular schedule, continuous sleep, and waking up genuinely restored. That is what matters most. There is also a fascinating characteristic of deep sleep. It tends to occur primarily during the first half of the night. Why? Because deep sleep is closely linked to sleep pressure. The longer we stay awake, the more sleep pressure accumulates. Throughout the day, the brain gradually builds up a biological need for sleep. By the time we first fall asleep at night, that pressure is at its highest. The body wants to repay its sleep debt. As a result, the earliest sleep cycles usually contain the greatest amount of deep sleep. As the night progresses, that accumulated sleep pressure gradually decreases. And naturally, deep sleep becomes less abundant. This helps explain something very important. If you regularly stay up late, or if your sleep is disrupted by work, stress, emotional stimulation, social media, or endless scrolling before bed, the first half of the night is often affected the most. And when the first half of the night is damaged, deep sleep is usually the first casualty. This is one reason why people can spend many hours in bed and still wake up feeling exhausted. The quantity of sleep may look acceptable, but the quality of deep sleep has been compromised. Because of this, if your goal is to improve deep sleep, the first solution is usually not a supplement, it is not a gadget, and it is not the latest sleep product advertised online. The first step is much simpler. Improve the factors that interfere with sleep in the first place. The 10 major sleep disruptors we discussed in the previous episode. Because when those factors improve, deep sleep often improves naturally. Now that we've explored the body's primary restoration stage, let's move on to one of the most fascinating parts of human sleep, a stage that focuses less on the body and more on the brain, rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep. Now let's talk about REM sleep. REM stands for Rapid Eye Movement Sleep. If deep sleep is the body's restoration period, then REM sleep is the brain's restoration period. REM sleep is remarkably unique. During this stage, brain activity becomes highly active. sometimes almost as active as it is during wakefulness. Your eyes move rapidly beneath your closed eyelids. Breathing becomes less regular. Heart rate becomes less predictable. Blood pressure may fluctuate, yet at the very same time, most of the body's skeletal muscles become temporarily inhibited. In simple terms, your body is largely unable to move, and that's actually a brilliant safety mechanism. Imagine what could happen if your body acted out every dream. If you were running, fighting, jumping, or falling in a dream, and your muscles responded fully, you could easily injure yourself. So the brain temporarily disconnects most muscle activity. The dream continues, but the body stays relatively still. REM sleep is also the stage most strongly associated with dreaming. People can dream during other sleep stages. But the most vivid dreams, the most emotional dreams, the dreams that feel like movies, usually occur during REM sleep. Speaking of dreams, this reminds me of a painful experience from when I was 22 years old. At that time, I loved playing soccer. One night, I dreamed I was in the middle of a match. The ball came flying toward me. I leaped into the air and executed what felt like the perfect bicycle kick. A beautiful shot, a highlight reel moment. Then, I woke up instantly, in pain. My leg had slammed directly into the sharp corner of my bedside table. Blood was everywhere. And even today, I still carry a small scar from that unforgettable night. So perhaps that cinematic dream wasn't happening during REM sleep after all. Otherwise, my body's built-in safety system might have protected me a little better. Beyond dreaming, REM sleep serves a much deeper purpose. Its primary role is related to the brain, particularly emotional processing, memory consolidation, learning, problem-solving, and creative association. One way to think about REM sleep is as the brain's overnight editing room. During the day, you collect experiences, information, conversations, challenges, successes, failures, emotions. By night, the brain begins sorting through all of it. Some memories are strengthened, others are discarded, connections are formed, experiences are reorganized, emotions are processed. In many ways, REM sleep helps the brain decide what should be kept, what should be forgotten, and how should today's experiences fit into everything you've learned before. This is one reason why difficult experiences often feel less overwhelming after a good night's sleep. The event itself hasn't changed, but your brain has had time to process it. Part of that process happens during REM sleep. This is why REM sleep is about much more than dreaming. Dreams are simply the visible surface. Underneath, the brain is performing important emotional and cognitive work. Unlike deep sleep, REM sleep is concentrated mainly in the second half of the night. The first REM period usually appears about 90 minutes after falling asleep. Initially, it may last only 10 minutes or so. But as the night progresses, REM periods become longer and longer, especially during the final sleep cycles before morning. Some REM periods can last 30, 40, or even 50 minutes. This also explains why people are more likely to remember dreams shortly before waking up. And it leads us to an important problem. Chronic sleep deprivation often reduces REM sleep first. Imagine someone sleeping only 5 or 6 hours per night. The body may still preserve some deep sleep during the first half of the night, but much of the REM sleep that normally occurs later may never happen. Over time, this can affect emotional stability, stress recovery, learning efficiency, memory performance, focus, and creativity. So if you've recently noticed that you're more emotionally sensitive, more anxious, less focused, less productive, and you've also been sleeping too little for a long period of time, the missing piece may not simply be lack of sleep. It may be lack of REM sleep. Now let's use a practical example to see how a full night of sleep unfolds. Imagine someone goes to bed at 11 p.m. and wakes up at 7 a.m. That provides an 8-hour sleep opportunity. From roughly 11 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., the first sleep cycle occurs. Deep sleep is abundant. REM sleep is relatively brief. From 12:30 a.m. to 2 a.m., the second cycle begins. Deep sleep remains prominent. Physical restoration continues. From 2 a.m. to 3:30 a.m., deep sleep starts to decline. REM sleep begins to expand. From 3:30 a.m. to 5 a.m., REM sleep becomes much more noticeable. Dreams often become more vivid. From 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., deep sleep is minimal. N2 sleep and REM sleep alternate more frequently, and many people naturally wake up during this period. This example highlights an important reality. Sleeping well during the first half of the night is essential for physical recovery. Sleeping enough during the second half of the night is essential for emotional and cognitive recovery. If stress, late-night eating, alcohol, smartphones, or noise disrupt the first half of the night, deep sleep suffers. If an alarm clock repeatedly cuts off the second half of the night, REM sleep suffers. This is why complete sleep matters. Not just total sleep time, complete sleep. Before we finish, you may be wondering, how can I actually see my own N1, N2, N3, and REM sleep? When do these stages occur, and how long do they last? Today, many smartwatches, fitness bands, smart rings, and other wearable devices can estimate sleep stages. Some people prefer not to wear anything while sleeping. For them, certain smart pillows and non-contact sleep radar systems can also provide sleep data. Overall, these tools can be useful, but only if they are used correctly. Don't panic because a device reports less deep sleep on a single night. And don't assume everything is perfect simply because a device gives you a high sleep score. The most effective way to use sleep data is to focus on trends. Look at patterns over 2 to 4 weeks, not one night. Pay attention to total sleep time, sleep consistency, nighttime awakenings, and how you actually feel during the day. Most importantly, don't allow sleep tracking to become a new source of stress. There is even a term for this phenomenon: orthosomnia, sleep perfection anxiety. The more people obsess over achieving perfect sleep numbers, the worse they sometimes sleep. Sleep is supposed to be a process of letting go. If every morning feels like checking an exam score, the tracking itself may begin working against healthy sleep. Today, we explored the complete architecture of sleep. Let's summarize everything in one sentence. Deep sleep primarily restores the body. REM sleep primarily restores the brain and emotions. Light sleep provides transition and stability. Great sleep is not about maximizing a single stage. It is about maintaining complete sleep cycles, minimizing unnecessary awakenings, and waking up with both the body and the mind truly restored. I hope today's episode has helped you better understand what happens during sleep. If you found this episode helpful, please consider subscribing to DeepSleep Health Lab. We'll continue bringing you clear, practical, science-based information to help you sleep better and live better. Until next time, sleep well.